Alright, fellas. Probably about to do the most controversial video I've made on this channel so far. We about to make some predictions of the 2024 US presidential election. Yay, we love politics. So anyways, let's get into the candidates. We got
Joe
Joe
Biden.
Biden, as he's obviously going to get the Democratic nomination. And more than likely, it's going to be Donald Trumpet as the Republican nominee because, he's doing much better than the other Republican candidates from what I've seen. So yeah, we'll go with a Biden-Trump rematch. Before we start off, I'm going to fill in our strongholds here. Okay, this is taking a bit long. After the snap of my fingers, it'll all be filled in. Alright, we got all the strongholds filled in. Now, let's go over our first state, Iowa. Now, if this was a 2016 election, it'd be tough as hell to predict. But over the last few elections, it's been going towards the Republicans, so, Trump's gonna win Iowa. Alright, Florida and Texas. Yeah, I bet we know who they're going to. Once again, if this was 2016, this would be a lot harder to predict. But yeah, the Republicans have basically conquered Texas and Florida over these last few years. So, obviously, these two states are going to go to Trump. But now let's talk about a state that I think will vote for Biden. That state will be New Hampshire. In the 2016 election, Clinton won New Hampshire by a pretty close margin. It seemed that Republicans could soon just flip the state into their favor. However, Democrats have edged it back in New Hampshire, just like its New England counterparts. So Biden has pretty good chances there in 2024. Now for Ohio. Now, Ohio seems like it'd be tough for me to predict, especially in the recent referendums that just took place there. Issue 1 and Issue 2, which legalized abortion in the state and legalized marijuana in the state. And they both won by pretty healthy margins. However, do I think Ohio is going to vote Biden? No, I don't. And that's just because some of the elections that take place there, people just end up voting like liberally, I guess. I don't know. You got a lot of states that vote in weird ways, like Kentucky. They're an ultra red state. They just reelected their Democrat governor. I don't know, but over the last few presidential elections, Republicans have conquered Ohio too, and Ohio has been pretty much getting more conservative over the years. Now for Virginia. In 2021, Republicans have been able to flip the governorship in Virginia, and some sources were predicting that Trump could carry the state in a hypothetical race against Biden. But that was 2021. We're in 2023 now, and Democrats have edged back Virginia, especially in the recent statewide election that just took place. And support for Democrats in Virginia is nowhere near dead. If Trump does campaign heavily there, then it may be a narrow margin, but I don't see him getting Virginia. Let's be real here. Okay, now this is where shit starts getting real. These are like the true battleground states, the crucial states of the US presidential election. Let's start this off with North Carolina. Now, it gets pretty close in North Carolina. And in both elections, Trump won the state by less than 1%. However, according to basically all polls, Trump leads in North Carolina. And, as I forgot to mention, with two big left-leaning independent candidates running for president, which would be Cornel West, who is running on like a progressive platform, and RFK Jr., who's kind of the moderate guy who is fighting climate change, but yet absolutely despises vaccines. Now, could RFK take some Trump votes? Sure, but these two candidates are more than likely going to hurt Biden more than Trump come this election. So with that, I'll be handing this state to Trump. And kind of the same thing with Georgia too. Because in 2020, Biden won there by a razor-thin margin by just 12,000 votes out of over 5 million cast. And once again, every single poll I've looked at shows Trump with the upper hand over Biden. And Georgia seems like a pretty conservative state. It's practically all of Georgia versus Atlanta. And with the two independents I just mentioned, yeah, I don't think Biden's going to win Georgia. No, he could, if he does well enough, but I doubt it. Michigan, it's looking like a pretty good pickup for Biden, a pretty crucial one for Biden. As in the last election, he won the state by a pretty good margin. And polls there either show him just tied with Trump or ahead of Trump, even in polls including the two independent candidates. So they could take some votes away from Biden, but not enough for him to actually lose Michigan. And Democrats in Michigan have also been picking up steam as of recently. So I'm just going to give it a tilt for Biden because, I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen. All right, Arizona. It's the same thing I said about Georgia, but it's going to be even closer. See, Biden won the state by just a measly 10,000 votes the last election. And polls there also show Trump leading over Biden, though it's closer. There could be a scenario where I see Biden hold on to Arizona for this election, but I don't find that likely unless, Trump gets convicted of his things and he gets sent to jail. But we're not going to assume that. We're going to assume that just Trump remains free and keeps going. So yeah, I'm going to hand this state to Trump, though only a tilt. It's going to be pretty close in Arizona, as it has been these last few elections. Now, we're down to 3 states left. And these states I find to be extremely hard to predict. So take this with the slightest grain of salt. Starting with Nevada, it's been getting very close in Nevada as of recently, and Republicans could soon flip Nevada. However, do I think that the Republicans could flip the state this election? I don't think so, but maybe next election though. Maybe next election they could flip it. If they can do well enough, they could turn Nevada red. Now we got Wisconsin. Yeah, Biden also won Wisconsin by a razor-thin margin there too, winning by only 20,000 votes. And with the RNC taking place in Milwaukee, Trump could end up doing pretty well for himself in Wisconsin, and he might be able to get Wisconsin to vote for him once again, and pushing Trump over the 270 threshold, handing him the whole election. But we still got one state. Pennsylvania. Now, this is probably by far the most difficult state to predict. However, polls there showed Trump leading ahead Biden. I mean, what do polls do, So this is going to be a very close one in Pennsylvania, but I don't know. I mean, just according to what polls say and the research that I've done, it shows Trump could also win Pennsylvania by a pretty thin margin. But even if Biden wins Pennsylvania, Trump still wins the election. So yeah, that's my prediction, fellas.
Joe Biden
247, Donald Trump at 291. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, you can like, comment, subscribe, whatever. You don't have to. And yeah, just don't cancel me, please. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.